A big hello and a warm welcome to all of you amazing and beautiful people out there. Welcome to my channel. In today's channeling session, we're going to be talking about the ego death, which takes place in Divine Masculine as well as Divine Feminine Collective. At the same time, both of them sort of realize that inner work is their drug. Inner work is something that keeps them going, and they can leave anything, but they don't want to leave inner work. There's also good news for a lot of people who cannot afford personalized therapies or customized sessions. I am coming up with Patreon memberships now, and I've been wanting to do it for a long time, but I was not really ready, and I wanted to make sure that, at least there are few people, even if it's a limited group of people, but I would love to cater to them. So if you cannot afford many sessions, you can take one session, and that would be a group session. So if you take the membership, you get Zoom class on it, and that will be dedicated to only Patreons. Once the class is done and once we have derived something out of it, then maybe we can publish it on YouTube for others, also for everyone. But that class specifically would be for only those people who take the membership. And the membership is not very expensive. Along with the 2 memberships that I have, there is also 2 very exciting options for people who love to study through the world of metaphysical studies. So I would be sharing 2 stories. Actually, one is a research called The Truth of Twin Flames, and the other is called Rising from the Ashes. Rising from the Ashes is a story of 2 intergalactic peacemakers. And I would be sharing these stories, the chapters, the volumes, part by part, on my channel through my vlogs. And this is something that I don't think any other author has done before, but I would be trying it out specially for my patrons, only those people who would be taking up the membership. So this would also be exclusive. I'm okay with few limited people, but interested people, but extremely inner work oriented people, and people who thoroughly enjoy doing research work. Because I don't know how many of you have realized it, but you all started doing research work even on Twinflame Ascension journey after you went through very difficult dark night of the soul, or you were in the middle of the dark night of the soul and you really wanted to find out what is happening to me. Personally also, I love inner work, and I have spent literally half of my life doing it, and there is nothing more that I am fascinated with more than inner work. Like, you can take everything from me, but don't take away my inner work, because inner work makes me who I am. It's a part of my life. So I am looking for specifically only those type of people, so they can become a member of my Patreon memberships, and month on month they can support my content while I support their inner desire to do better inner work with really cool concepts, not just the boring way, not just one specific way. Because YouTube also follows a certain algorithm. I have noticed in the past couple of years that I'm working with YouTube. Obviously, there was a time when I was working as a marketeer, so YouTube was not such a big platform at that point in time. In fact, I would like to mention that the first horror web series was actually created by my company and by my team. So we have been in this business for a really long time, but I did not want to be a part of the corporation or, be a part of the rat race. So it took me a lot of pain and effort to actually quit those fancy high designated jobs. So a lot of people think that, you just become a twin flame coach or a healer or a therapist, whatever label you want to give, just like that. That's not true. You have to sacrifice a lot. You have to really break away from the 3-dimensional reality and be able to create a brand new reality for yourself. But it may sound very easy when we speak about it like this, but it is not easy. And over a decade has gone into this type of research work and inner work. But I honestly feel, when I look back and I look at the progress that I've made, it may not be, monetized all the time. It may not be like, okay, I did not make billions when I could have really made billions. But what I'm doing right now and what I've been doing from past few years is just so fulfilling, and It makes me content. It makes me happy. Sometimes when I make a content, a piece of video, or something that I feel can touch people, even if 20, 30, 40, 50 people watch it and they like it and they love it and they feel that they were looking for this information but they were not able to get it anywhere, that makes my day. So criticism is also a part of it, guys. And please understand, in inner work, whether you're making content or you're living your life in general, in real world, in real time, people will criticize you, okay? Sometimes appreciation is also not good, because when you're getting too appreciated, you actually get confused, because you may not have created something, or you may not have done something thinking that you'll get appreciated. You just did it because you loved it. You just did it because it was naturally flowing from you. So a lot of you would actually do a lot of things, many acts of kindness and compassion, many acts of unconditional love you perform, and you don't realize it, you don't think about it, you just do it, and then somebody comes and appreciates you. And when they appreciate you, it creates a sort of energy within you that makes you feel very happy in a way that you want to take credit for it. So that's the reason why criticism is also required. So if I tell you that accept the criticism, it's not like I don't. Even I have to go through a lot of criticism. Sometimes one comment, one negative comment can bring you down, like your energy down to such a low level, sometimes for days and sometimes for weeks, because the words are so cruel. But you understand that these words are being sent to you through a negative entity, through a demonic entity which does not want you to go further ahead. And the appreciation, even if it's sent to you by higher beings, by angelic beings, or those who love your work, you should still not take it too seriously. I know it sounds bizarre when I say this, but this is how it works fine. Like, sometimes criticism keeps you grounded, and sometimes it also makes you become even better and even stronger. Like, people would try to stop you from doing your inner work. People will stop you from being a different person or accepting that you're different. You were probably always different, but you were hiding it out and you were trying to fit into the societal norms. And now that you don't want to do it, there are going to be people who will tell you, hey, what are you doing? It's wrong. It's not correct. But you still do it anyway. So their criticism sort of gives you more energy. This is how we should take criticism. And appreciation, we should take it like love coming from someone. And you just feel happy when you're loved, right? But at the same time, we should immediately make a prayer that God, this appreciation should not take me off my course, take me off my path, or I should not take credit for it. Everything that's happening, it's naturally happening, and it's happening because you are guiding me. You are my master. And even if God wants you to be the master of your own ship, but all of us know that when we were down, we had somebody. That person was showing us the light. Okay. So now coming back to the channeling, the masculine and feminine, and this is interesting channeling because it's talking about inner work. And in the last, I would say a month, I have noticed that there are a lot of people who are yearning for proper inner work. And I've been working with people for a long time now, but since 2020, I've seen a huge rise in people who want to do genuine inner work, because there are so many cults in every area, whether it's Twinflame, whether it's individual spiritual teacher or masters. Most people sort of form a cult where the teacher or the master or the guru, whosoever it is, that person becomes like the god of the cult. Okay. Now that's a dangerous place to be in, because master should also guide you to source. That's the real job of the master. The master works with you, or, a teacher or a therapist. See, a teacher or a therapist cannot be at the level of the master, because ascended masters, they are just so amazing. Okay, we are just human beings. We are just trying to do our best. We make a lot of mistakes and we are not perfect. We should not even aim for perfection. We should just do the best, like whatever best we can, and then leave it, and leave it over there. So the masculine and feminine, in a way, are going to also sort of lead in their group, and if not together, then individually. Like Sita and Ram were leading individually, and Ram, despite being a king, would call himself servant of people. He would never say that I am the king, or I have this, or I have that. He would say, this is my position, this is my post, and I'm here to serve people. And if people don't want me to be enjoying my personal life, enjoying my personal life, there is not even a single prime minister or a king or a ruler so far who has left his personal life. Some of them may have left their personal lives long ago, which means the personal life was never even a priority. But with Sri Ram, it's absolutely different. There is nobody who can stand in comparison with him, because he was very much in love with his wife, and he literally walked barefoot in the forest. Imagine, went to Sri Lanka, created an army of monkeys and bears and birds and animals and whatnot he did to fight against the demon king, the most powerful demon king, Ravan. He fought against him, he killed him, he got his wife back, he went back to Ayodhya, started living his life very happily, very thankful, very content. And one fine day, while he's doing his kingly duties, he finds out that people are criticizing his acceptance, the way he accepted his wife back after she lived in Ravan's kingdom, or the forest that he had kidnapped her in. So first of all, I feel really like some people are so pathetic. Sometimes I don't take criticism too seriously also. This is the reason why. Because when I study the life of my Aradhyas, of my masters, my twin flame gurus, and I have so much immense love for them and so much respect for them. And trust me, I was not like this always, The more I did inner work, the more I worked on myself, I started understanding their life better and better. So that's why I tell people to do the same, Do your inner work, don't focus on anything else. Don't think about anything else. So I think that when they can get criticized, so like in such wrong places for absolutely unfair reasons, then who are we? If they can take it for other people? So he was criticized because he accepted his wife who was kidnapped by another man. And he is not some thief or some scoundrel. He is a king of another country, a really powerful man, the demon lord. So what is wrong? Ravan could not even touch Sita with a bad intention. He could not even go close to her because she was so powerful, and he was previously cursed by his own nephew Nal Kuber, whose fiancée Ravan had raped. Ravan was a serial rapist, and he's the reptilian king. If you are working under the devil, if you are under demonic possessions, or if you just serve the reptilian entities, you are going to do these things. These things are a part of your energy system. Eve teasing women, looking at other women as your property, saying mean things to them, saying bad things to them. And this applies to women as well. There are so many women who serve the reptilian ETs. They are also like that. They want to break homes. They want to destroy other people's lives. In the twin flame journey also they say that sometimes your DM can be married to someone else. This is where a twin flame is tested. If your masculine marries some other woman, say you guys were in a relationship and he chose to go after someone else, leaves you behind, then your integrity is to not accept him. Your integrity is to tell him that, look, don't play this game with me. You left me to be with that woman. You hurt me. You made me feel compared. You favored someone else. You had some things going on, like you wanted maybe money or comfort or sex or whatever the hell you needed. And now you're bored of her as well, because this is who you are. This is what your nature is. You like to use people, and anything that is convenience for you, you want to go ahead with that. So you chose her to make me feel horrible, and now you're coming back to me and making her feel horrible. Maybe she doesn't even know. Oh wait, let me tell her that you contacted me, you called me up, you messaged me. Let me share the screenshots of your conversation, of your asking me sexual favors, or trying to cajole me, trying to fool me. Let me share this with her. Let her also know what type of a disloyal husband she has. You could not be loyal to me, I forgave you. You cannot be loyal to her, and now you expect me to be a part of your game, of your horrible game. I am sorry, I cannot be. The men should also do the same. Inner work gives you this strength. And so many men also go through the same situation. See, because twin flame energy can be in a man and also it can be in a woman. Okay, there is not a gender related measurement for it. So if a man has the feminine energy, then he is also going to attract someone who's going to help him become a better, more authentic person through all the karmic entanglements that he faces. Maybe it's a twin flame, maybe it's a karmic, or whatever the case is. Everyone is going through different thing. That's why sometimes therapy helps us a lot, because in therapy we are totally focused on one person and we do customized assignments, we do customized session, and I don't keep a timer like other therapists do. Other therapists, if they are going to give you 1 hour appointment, then right after 1 hour they'll start charging you. Sometimes they just listen to you, they don't speak at all because they don't have anything to share, to be honest. They are not experiencing Ascension journey, they don't know what Ascension is all about. They just look at, okay, let me listen to this person. If this person says these 5 or 6 things, then I'm definitely going to give him this pill or that pill, this much dosage or that much dosage. This is how they work. So after 1 hour, they don't care what emotions you're going through. They will just start charging you. With me, I don't work like that. And there are so many people who can actually tell this. I have proper conversations with people. And I also tell them, I share with them many things. Like, I think I've been in all problems of this universe. Anything that this universe has to offer. So far, I have gone through it all. And it's very crazy when I say this. It may sound like I am some agony aunt, but actually it's just my human design is like that. 5.2 projectors. There are these rarest of the rare projectors actually. As it is, projectors are only 17% on this planet. But they are the ones who have to cater to everyone, even the 1% reflectors. So reflectors, and guess what? I have met so many reflectors as well and manifestors as well who are just 7%. So universe has offered me all these good and bad experiences. And I feel honestly, if I was not protected, I could have seen the worst. I may not even have survived from it. Okay. I have to share a little bit of myself in this particular channeling to make it sound more relatable. Though I don't want to share so much about my life, but I'm going to do as much as I can. Okay. So when you go through a lot of problems, say for example, you're a child, you get molested by a pedophile. Okay. Now you have experienced it to a degree that you can relate with most children who have been molested by pedophiles or by a close family member. And there are cases where the children even get raped. There are children who get raped for a long time. You can also relate to them. See, because getting abused and molested is a very horrible feeling. Okay, it's already a horrible feeling. It gives you many years of shame and guilt. You don't know why it happened to you. Sometimes children are hypersexuals and they think that they are hypersexuals. They are the problem. In therapy also, some people have shared with me that why was I not like other kids? Why was I not always playing and doing all the kiddie things? Why was I involved with adults who were sexually using me and I was participating? I did not retaliate. I did not say no. I did not go and tell anyone. I did not even tell my parents. See, because there is a reason behind it. You were programmed to be hypersexual, number one. At a very young age, you were programmed to become a hypersexual kid. Secondly, the adults were not adults. You were the adult. So if the adults are constantly oversharing their problems with you, their worries and their concerns with you, then definitely you're going to take care of them. And when you know they're already worried, they're already upset about something, maybe they're not making enough money, maybe they are having fights with other relatives, maybe they have poverty consciousness, maybe one of the parent is having an extramarital affair and the other one wants to take revenge, or whatever the scenario is, you're being told too many things about everybody and you're the agony aunt of many people. And while being the agony aunt, because agony aunts, it's not a good thing to be an agony aunt as well. Though it's a sarcastic term, but if you technically have to think about it, she's the one who has a lot of agony, So her energy has to match with the outside surroundings. So that's why people say an agony aunt is the right person to talk to sometimes, because she has so much agony herself that she's going to listen to you and relate with you, okay? But when you heal that agony, when you heal that pain, then you can also get out of that energy zone. And then when you work with people, when you treat people, when you're doing therapy with people, because as a therapist, I don't come across only one case, okay? I have to deal with 20 cases. Imagine dealing with 20 cases at one time. So you need to really do very deep inner work. You need to have a lot of faith, and you need to let the doership go. Otherwise, you can't do this task. It will kill you. And that's why most other therapists who are psychiatrists, who have the college degrees and they give you the pills, because they are basically qualified to give you the pills. They are not qualified to go through Ascension, because no school teaches Ascension. This is the reason why I want to start an Ascension school, but I don't know if it can really happen or not. Because at the end of the day, it should not become a cult. At the end of the day, it should not be like, okay, you are the everything. That's a scary place to be in. So I'm probably going to create online courses, or I'm going to probably do something unique and different, something very cool, fun, adventurous, so that I also don't get bored doing it. And as I told you guys, that being a 5.2 projector, one has to be a multidimensional being. And that's also not easy initially, because on planet Earth, you are told that you can't do so many things. You can't be a painter, singer, writer, gardener, animal lover, all of it at the same time. Or a fashionista, or a, healer, or a teacher at the same time. You have to do only one thing throughout the day and all the time. It has to be monotonous. But I don't think twin flames can do that. And twin flames are multidimensional beings. They are star seeds. Most of them are star seeds. Or they're very old souls who have taken many births on planet Earth, and this is their last life. So in your last life, you got to do everything, guys. You don't have any more lives. You might just say, hey, I'm not in the mood to do it. I don't feel like doing it. You might procrastinate. So universe has found a way to get you through the inner work. So when you are in that dark night of the soul phase, and you don't get one dark night of the soul, you get multiple, but they are given to you in proper intervals, so that every time you get a dark night of the soul, first you're going to suffer, be miserable, and then you're going to get bored of it. You're going to get tired of it. You want to get out of it. That's the time you want to do research. That's the time you want to study. That's the time you want to do spiritual inner work. So as a masculine, as a polarized masculine, you'll do matrix inner work. As a polarized feminine, you will do spiritual inner work. And in the merged state, you'll do both. Okay? So, inner work is my drug. This actually was given to me by a masculine energy from the collective. And I was quite surprised. Sometimes we underestimate the masculines. However, I try to make content that balances both. Twin Flame Union and Twin Flame Universe, these are my two channels. You can subscribe to both. And there is Ramayana and Mahabharata Diaries. For that, I have been doing extensive studies, so I'm not sharing everything right away. So you can subscribe to that also. And if you want to do group therapy work, like group sessions, then you can check out the Patreon link and take the membership, so that you can work with other people, even if it's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people for now, even 15, 20, doesn't matter. But then I have to follow a process so that everything doesn't get mixed up. On this channel also we have a join button, and that join button also offers you timeless channelings and live sessions which were done in the past. They are timeless, at the same time they're very powerful. They have a lot of deep discussions, and I'm making it available for people who join the channel. So I'm trying, my friends, everything I can. at the lowest cost. I'm making free content. I'm giving you memberships. I've written a book. I'm working on more books. And I enjoy doing all of this. Okay. But at the same time, I have a mission towards my furry friends and towards my plant kingdom, my plant family also, who feed us, who take care of us. Every single day of our life that we live and we exist is because of flora and fauna. Both have played a major role in our lives. Okay, we cannot go on one more day without them. Something or the other comes from them, something or the other. We may not see it, we may not realize it because life is so busy, but I am expecting and I'm hoping, actually. And for those who are in the fourth dimension right now, my intention is that you grow more. Going from 4D to 5D is a task. 3D to 4D happened because Earth is also in ascension. 2020 gave it a big push, like a jolt. It shook everything apart. And the ascensioners got a lot of energy. They got a lot of help because they could tell other people, hey, look, what you've done to the environment. Look, this virus is a result of that, Or look at all the deaths that are happening. Or look at all the diseases that are happening. It's all happening because this is the first pandemic that was a global pandemic. Even World War was not global. It happened within few countries, but like the whole globe was not included in it. Whether people felt sick or not, but everybody knew about the virus and everybody knew about the pandemic, and most countries and nations were under lockdown for some time or the other. And lockdown can also be seen as not just that you were jailed, but when you do silent retreats and when you do deep inner work, that time also you are taught to remain to yourself indoors in a area. So if you ever do a silent retreat, some silent retreats are very expensive. It can cost you right from $800 to $1,000. But there are some that are absolutely free of cost and you can look for them online. And you can ask me also personally if you want to do it. On my channel, Sunamoon Vlogs, I've shared some things about it. So all you have to do is, you just have to go there. You're not charged for boarding or lodging. You have to just follow silence for 10 days or 11 days. Total 11 days, out of which 9 are strict silence and 1, where they break the silence. And you can then share your observations with other people, whosoever you relate with over there. And they teach you how to do meditation, how to train your body, how to discipline your body to be able to sit still. Because after you figure this out, you realize that your body does need a certain amount of discipline. Whether you do it through exercising, like you do running, skipping, cycling, swimming, but it all requires certain amount of discipline and a certain amount of routine. So we need to be in that balance. We need to be disciplined. We also need to be sometimes wild. We need to be, making money, but we also not have to think too much about it. We have to also do things that we love. Sometimes when you do things that you love, you may not make so much money, or you may not be able to get that fancy materialistic life where you have Ferraris and Beamers and this and that. Maybe you get that also once, maybe. But the goal is not that, because you have figured out, you have started learning the art of living. You started learning the art of living, and eventually you learn this art of living. It's not actually art of living, it's actually art of dying. We are all here to learn how to be at the moment of our death. And only those people can cross over with full bloom, with victory, who can practice it on planet Earth all the time. Because planet Earth is a place where you are going to encounter suffering. If not like, people are abusing you all the time or accusing you, there would be some other form of suffering. Say I went to run the other day, okay? In the morning I ran a few kilometers and I kept running. I didn't stop and I came back. I did not even realize, I was so much in pain. I did not realize that I was also going through PMS, okay? Because usually when I go through PMS, I have a lot of stomach pain and some other headache or something. But with time, I have learned not to take any pills. With time, I have learned do not eat any carbohydrates during my 4 days, have a lot of fruits, have a lot of juices, no breads, no nothing, and those 4 days, 5 days are much better than how they used to be. That's because I have put my body into a discipline. So there are other pains to take care of. Like when you exercise a lot, your body feels this pain, but you enjoy that pain. When you start enjoying that pain, you can think many a times that if I can enjoy this pain, my legs are in pain, I'm like, I ran so much, I was cycling so much, or I was working so much that I have this pain, but I enjoy this pain. When you enjoy the pain does not have the same power over you, okay? And then you don't need to do so much to fight against it. Even as I'm talking to you, I have pain because I'm still going through my cycle, my moon cycle. I'm probably on the 4th day, I think, today. So when you're in this pain, while talking, there is a pain in the body, but you don't let it affect you. That is the journey. That is what the journey teaches you. You don't let it affect you. You don't stop because of it. And you also don't overdo it. Like, if you have to go out right now, like I had to go out somewhere half an hour back. I cancelled it. And I said, okay, no, I'm not going out. I don't want to run after something. I can do that thing after 2 hours or 3 hours or 5 hours. Or I can do it tomorrow. But I don't want to overexert myself. So these are the things you are going to learn when you learn to handle your pain. Every single twin flame out here is going to learn from pain. I really love that song, Believer. I don't know how many of you have heard it or not, but Believer, the lyrics are very nice. The song is beautiful. And it is literally thanking pain, that you have made me a believer. Pain has made me believe in the higher power. Because the day you start actually objectively observing all your pain. I'm just talking about physical pain, my friends. The same pain that I could not handle without any pills. Like I had to take sometimes 2 to 3 pills in a day. Can you believe that? 2 to 3 pills in a day during my cycles. That's where I was. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to fix it. I have to fix this pain. I cannot live my whole life with this pain. There were times when I would even go unconscious because of the pain. The pain used to be so bad that I would just fall. I could not stand straight. 2 nights back also, I could not stand straight, but it was not as bad. I was literally laughing. I was like, oh my God, what if I fall down right now? So I came back to my room. I lied down immediately. I did not question anything. I lied down. I did not have to take any pill or any medicine or anything. This time I didn't even use a hot water bag, I think. So you might be thinking that if you're a man, you might be thinking that, is it really that bad? Do women actually go through so much pain? Actually, they do. They do. Childbirth is so painful. Most men cannot even imagine the amount of pain women take during that time. And same it is with the monthly cycles for some people. But you need to find out ways. Actually, this is the way your body cleanses. This is the time a woman's body removes a lot of toxins and a lot of hormones are released and a lot of other things are released. It's in a way trying to make someone ready for reproduction also, because nature wants us to reproduce. Nature does not want you to be a doctor, a pilot, or an engineer, or a CEO or a COO or anything, a famous person or a celebrity. Nature just wants men and women to reproduce. Because when women reproduce, they're going to look after the child or the children. And the man gets reason to go out hunting. Because he can hunt for himself, and for a long time he would. But later on, when it becomes monotonous, then he wants to take care of his family, his wife, his children. So he has a reason to go out in the market and hunt. Earlier it was going to the jungle and hunt. Now it's going out in the corporate jungles, the concrete jungles, and get food to the table. Okay? But we want to go a little above nature also, because we love nature. We want to preserve nature. We respect nature. But we want to step into consciousness. And in consciousness, you're no longer a man or a woman. You're no longer a body or just a body. As long as you're under the nature's rule, you're gonna do whatever nature wants you to do. Okay, so all animals and birds follow nature. All plants, animals, birds, all nature beings, they follow nature thoroughly. Human beings don't. Human beings perform lustful activities all the time, whether they are going to reproduce or not. They use it as pleasure. Okay, while animals and birds and plants, they don't reproduce until and unless it is season time for them. For animals, it has to be mating system, mating season, and system also in a way. Only then they will mate. They will reproduce, they will take care of the children, not thinking that these children are going to be my caretakers and caregivers when I grow old. They actually train their children, they give them all the skills, and they're so detached with the children that they're going to let them go as soon as the children learn how to hunt for their food and they can take care of themselves, give themselves shelter. And this is something that all of them follow. A mango tree produces mangoes only in the summer seasons. Even if mangoes are, like in the tropical weather, but they also have a fixed season for reproducing mangoes. So humans don't do that. Humans don't follow nature. That's why they are not even humans. So that's why they say human is on the top of the eco chain. He is the caretaker of all beings. He is the caretaker of Mother Earth. But for that, you need to first be human. So first you become human, and that's when you've become human, when you understand, that's when you start entering the domain of superhuman beings. Superhuman beings is not like some fancy statement that I'm throwing at you. But as I said, the great thing is to be human first. The great thing is to be natural first. And once you understand your anatomy, once you accept your nature. So a lot of people say that, all human beings are supposed to give birth to their offsprings. That's not true. Some human beings, by nature, when they are children, they are very fond of other beings. They have a very motherly energy towards them, fatherly, motherly, both. And how do I know this twin flame energy worked since childhood? Because I remember when I was just a year old, I think, year and a half, we used to live at the mountains, very beautiful place, still is very beautiful. But at that time, it was absolute solitude because our house was the only house in that area. Our house was the first house to be built in that area. And then other people started making houses. My father actually created a whole city from a jungle. He was a contractor. He worked for the government of India. He made many roads. He made many amazing things. He brought in electricity. And nobody knows him, by the way. Nobody knows him. Now that he's gone, I can tell people that he did a lot of things for others. Because he never talked about it. He did not like talking about it. He would give credit to other people like, okay, this man did it or that man did it. So at that point in time, imagine you're a child and a lot of street dogs come to your house. They sit outside your house and they're not just one or two. Sometimes they're 7, sometimes they're 8, sometimes they're 12 in number. And every day they come. Every day. You've not gone out. You've not gone out to the streets feeding them, because what can a 1 year and 1.5 year child feed? It can't even feed itself properly. But when they used to come, I used to sit with them and I used to feed them in my small utensils. All the kids have the kitchen utensils which they buy, the parents give them. So in those small little plates and cups, I would put some dirt, some soil, some sand, and give it to them. Eat it. And they would pretend like they are really enjoying it. Or I would just sit with them, sleep next to them, do all those things. So the animals were coming on their own. The snakes, the dogs, a lot of animals were coming on their own. However, this is not seen as a natural thing. it was seen as something scary by other people, like, oh my god, what if the dogs attack her, or what if the snakes bite her? So I was, out of fear from my caregivers, I was separated from them. I was programmed heavily. Every single day I was taught that they're going to bite you, they're going to harm you, so you stay away from them. I could never really convince myself, actually, because I did not have a tangible experience where they had harmed me. But I had to believe the others. I waited for the tangible experience to happen. It never happened. It never happened. Literally, it never happened. I stepped on snakes. I sat down with snakes for an hour and I didn't know. There was a snake once. In 2018, I was sitting in my garden and there was a snake with me for so long, right next to the bush, literally on top of the bush. And I had no idea that there was a snake next to me. Obviously, you don't take pictures of that situation. You're not even carrying a phone, maybe. But I do remember taking one selfie. Just don't know which phone it was saved in. Sometimes I lose my phones and I don't know where the data is now. So the snake was sitting right there. And I had no idea. It was a long snake. It was not a tiny snake or something. I've seen various types of snakes. I've seen flying snakes. I've seen all sorts of snakes. Water snakes, little long snakes. And there are these snakes which have very strange body. The body is literally like a mongoose body, you can say. But the head, from the waist above, it's a snake. So it has 4 legs. And I thought that I'm imagining it. But then when I spoke to other people, some other people also came in. The dogs had actually found that particular snake. It had 4 legs, but it had a long hood. And when I saw it, I was told that it's quite dangerous. It can actually kill people in seconds. But I was like, it was trying to protect itself from the dogs. How would it be in the position to harm anyone? Even the flying snakes, when the snakes are flying across from one tree to another, I was told later on that, they can be very dangerous as they can just fly to you, bite you and go back. But they did not do any of those things. Elephants, so many animals, beautiful animals. It's a pain. It's a sad situation to see them in circuses, see them in places where people just buy a ticket to look at them. Like they're entertaining you. They're supposed to entertain you. They're not in their natural habitat. They're not hunting for food. They're not doing anything, like that they're supposed to do. So the point is that you could naturally be born as someone who is in the twin flame energy, where you like to nurture them, when you like to provide for them. For a child, providing means giving them something they need, like maybe company or meals, food or something. And nurturing is to be like a mother, So when that's taken away from you as a child, you can be a provider, you can be a nurturer, because in those times of your life, when you're a child, you're very awakened. All of your chakras are working, you're in alignment, but this is also the time when you're getting programmed slowly and gradually on a daily basis, because the adults, the caregivers, who are also codependent, because you're born in a codependent template, okay? You are born in a codependent template by choice. In some cases, you might even think later on, when you heal, that I am in this situation for a reason. Like when I'm doing therapy, some of my students tell me, it seems to be a never-ending thing. Because I forgive them and something else comes up. And I forgive them and something else comes up. It's literally like the problem can get the better of you, and it also has levels. Like ego also has levels of fooling people, okay? So your empathetic side is fighting with your egotistical side. One more thing I want to share over here is, ego doesn't always mean arrogance or bad behavior. And people in empathetic energy always doesn't mean they have to be very sweet and soft-spoken as some people assume them to be. Some very soft-spoken, some very sweet people also have a very strong ego. There are people who can make others fall in love with them. Celebrities do it all the time. They are very conscious and aware that if I act in this manner, if I do this, people are going to love me. And inside they could be very crooked. Look at Jimmy Savile. When I look at Jimmy Savile, I think that if he can do this, anybody can do this. He was a pedophile. He was a killer. He was a psycho, a total psycho, but a megalomaniac, a very disturbed person. But he was always in front of the camera. He was always doing his gimmicks. So he sort of knew what to say, and he looked weird actually. You know, if you look at these people, they do have a, cunning side to them. You can see it in their eyes and you can see it in their body language. But most people can't see it because most people are programmed to like what they see. And they're going to show you what you like. Okay? So, in the Ascension journey, this is another thing that you need to learn via inner work. First of all, you need to remember that you're a provider and nurturer by choice and by nature. Because nature has chosen you to take care of other beings, nature is going to give you that in your biology as well, in your anatomy as well. You will have an extra sensory perception. You will be sensitive towards them. And for that, you need to be sensitive towards pain as well as joy. But when you grow, you need to actually understand through discernment that this is right for me and this is not right for me. So I can be the provider and I can be the nurturer, but I got to be the provider and nurturer for those people who actually need me. For those who don't need me and they have just simply programmed me to make me a person who has to take care of them, even though they don't need me really. So then a lot of people have to practice. This is all practice and it requires years and years of practice. So if I give you false hope that you will become absolutely perfect in a very short span of time, or how some people have these courses that can help you get into union, that's never going to happen. Okay? Because your union has got nothing to do with the three-dimensional reality. We do say that 5D union equals to 3D union. That's what I say. 5D equals to 3D. But then most people who are looking for a proof or looking for a substantial physical manifestation, actually they're never going to find it because they're looking for it. And when you look for something, you're never going to find it. That's the rule. Because you're actually chasing it. You're not accepting it. You're not surrendering to it. You're still chasing it. And you want a proof. When you know something is true, you don't need a proof. You don't need to look for a proof. The proof would be presented to you when you're not looking for it. And that is called, a very beautiful word for it, epiphany. When you get the epiphany, it's like, oh my God, this is real. So the masculine and the feminine energy, whether they are in the polarized form, they are going to mirror each other. That's how this whole journey works. So if the masculine is thinking that inner work is my drug, definitely feminine is thinking the same. And it's a very good place, a very healthy place to be in. Because you at least know that I need to work on myself in order to go any further from here. And I'm going to enjoy it. And I'm going to love it. I'm going to learn how to go through pain without getting affected and derailed by it. And I'm going to understand that the nature of pain is that it's an illusion. Pain is an illusion, and you always go through pain because of constant programming. And I'm telling you this, that all the pain that we go through during our cycles, you must have seen some women don't go through it at all. And some go through it a lot. When you go through it a lot, it means that something in your masculine energy is unhealed. or you think that the masculine is taken away from you. Where I experienced this pain, I never used to have PMS pain or any type of pain for a long time. 2016, my father passed over, and that's when I started going through the pain. Before that, and I was doing so many vipassanas and silent retreats, pain would not bother me. I would get my moon cycle sometimes during silent retreats, and I would not bother. I would continue to do my inner work, even if it required me to sit still for many hours. I would do that. But after he passed over, I felt like a very important person, who's obviously masculine, has been taken away from me. So it had got nothing to do with romance or nothing to do with love or anything. And I did have a romantic, very strong connection support at that time also, even though I did not want it. I was not depending on it. But I could see a lot of friends were there, a lot of people were around me. Okay, but I was so angry and upset that I lost him physically. And it took me a couple of months to actually let it go, to grieve, and to accept that just by physical death, you're not going to lose someone who's very dear to you. And the forgiveness process is also very interesting, because see, as long as somebody is around us, we take that person for granted. When the person is gone, we actually forgive them much more easily. So once I was working with a client who was in a relationship with a guy, obviously, and they had lots of fights, and their relationship could not work out, even though they had a lot of love for each other. And then they went their separate ways. She could not get over him, and he could not probably get over her, whatever the scenario was. But he started dating someone else, and that made her even more angry and upset, and she could not forgive him. And then one fine day he passed over. He just died. And that's when it became very difficult for her, that she had not forgiven him while he was alive. All these years getting angry and upset. So it was very traumatic, So I can relate with that experience, because it happened with me at least twice or thrice. 3 very dear people I lost, and 2 pets I lost. So actually 5 people I lost like that, whose death I was not expecting. And it gave me so much trauma. Like, I was in guilt for a long time, because the guilt was that when they were there, I did not do a certain things that I could have done for them. But when they were there, those thoughts never crossed my mind. So it was a battle, like for one of my street dogs. She was this wonderful dog. She still lights up my face. She can still light up my aura. I can never forget her. The energy she carried, it's just so hard to explain, what this dog was for me. This dog was my life, But I could not, at that time I could not adopt her. I could not because it never crossed my mind that I can adopt her or I could adopt her. I was happy that she was happy on the streets, and I was probably I used to go to meet her 12 to 13 times in a day, starting from morning. After every 2 hours, sometimes 3 hours, I would go to meet her, to check on her. That was the amount of love I had for her. And she would always be waiting for me. She would always be there for me. She was a very naughty dog, I have to say that. She was also very naughty, trust me. It was that mischief only that maybe mischief, or maybe, it was the time. Like, we all have to die, and death needs a reason. Everybody's, like in Hindi we say, sabka ticket kata hua hai, means everybody has bought a ticket of how they will and when they will die. But at that moment in time, I could not accept it, because I met her one day before, and it was during lockdown. So I also lost a very precious family member during lockdown. So I had to grieve, and then I had to continue doing my mission work. I had to continue stepping out every day. I was out every day on lockdown. It was very hard. It took me a long time to get over the death of this beautiful friend I have, this beautiful, wonderful animal companion. I have never actually felt this type of love from any, like all my animal companions, they cannot be compared. All of them have different personalities. All of them have, different styles, and they all have personalities so beautiful and so touching and so endearing. They are the most important part of my inner work. They are the reason why I'm close to Source. They took me close to Source, and I can never thank them enough. It will never be enough. So yeah, we all lose somebody, and when we lose them, we realize how much they matter to us, how much they mean to us. And that's when we actually start forgiving them for the things we were upset about. Or sometimes we also forgive ourselves, because maybe when they were around us, we were not so well equipped. We did not know how to do certain things. We did not know how to give it to ourselves. How are we going to give it to them? We were in those energies where we ourselves were not fully independent. So they are going to teach you to do mission work. They are going to teach you how to do inner work. Those people are very precious people, and they may have also made mistakes. I'm not denying the fact that they've not hurt you. But who doesn't hurt one another? Which relationship is like a happy-go-lucky, singing and dancing all the time type of relationship? Those relationships are unreal, I think. If you can't argue with someone you love and then let it go and then be the same way that you were, it's not love. You need to forget people. And if somebody you love wants to go away from you, you should take it as an opportunity to work on yourself. Not as a time that you're going to keep grudges and be angry. Okay? So the DM and the DF, I can really sense this energy, a lot of them. 2022 was already destined, or already, the type of planetary positions and all the predictions, the energy updates have always pointed out that this year is going to be a lot of work for a lot of people. But you also elevate when you do a lot of inner work and genuine inner work. So a lot of purging is going to happen. If you're going to doubt your inner work, if you're going to doubt yourself or your destiny or so many things, like how are you going to manage things, things will be difficult. I have a feeling then it's not going to be easy for you. You need to have faith, you need to let go, and you need to just do your inner work. Your number one priority should be inner work, and this inner work itself will take care of you. So on this note, I'm going to close this channeling session. For your personal situation, you can check out the description box where you have therapies, you have the readings, and if you can't afford them, then go for the memberships on Patreon or join the channel, whichever suits you. And ask questions, guys. Please ask me questions that I can answer for the whole community as well. And don't ask me prediction-based personal questions. And as I said, for that, you can take a personal reading. Ask me questions that are going to help you in your ascension and inner work. And sometimes people have like very innocent doubts. Like somebody asked me, if Goddess Sati was chasing Shiva and it's not called chasing, then why our chasing and our focus on the DM is called chasing? It's a very intelligent question, but I'm sure some people would fear asking it because it's about a god and goddess. They might think, oh my god, I can't say this. So don't stop those questions from coming in. I have also a Hindi channel now, and some of you are on that channel as well. So Hindi speaking audience can subscribe to Twinflame Union Hindi. I am sharing all metaphysics and Twinflame and Puranas, Upanishads, basically the things that you really need to know. Not the things that you don't need to know. The things that you don't need to know or not focus on are that Twinflame is a romantic concept. Twinflame is not a romantic concept. Romance is a very low frequency energy. They created it, the reptilians, extraterrestrials, they created it so that people are going to always be trapped in lust, And romance and expectations, true love has got nothing to do with romance. Your boyfriend or your husband or your wife may not give you flowers, may not take you out for dinners, but it could be possible that they are very sincere, very committed, and very much in love with you. Maybe you just don't know it. And as I said, that forgiveness is very hard, very, very hard to practice. That's why sometimes we need hand holding, as someone can actually convince us, or someone can actually listen to us and show us the right way to forgive in a certain given situation. It is very tricky, but it can help you. You may not clear all the karma, but you will clear some of it. And we need to clear the karma. We are here to clear the karma. So I'll see you soon in another one. One love and peace out, and Jai Shri Ram.